Hi there, I've got a very traditional green and white Christmas card for you today. It looks really complicated, but I'll break it down into steps and then show you just how easy it is to achieve. These are the dies we'll be using in some of the products. I have the triple line Merry Christmas, and we're going to show you a little trick with that one. I'm going to be cutting the Snowflake Filigree frame to put as a little bit of a background. And on top of that, we'll sit the holly octagonal frame. And I'm going to be using some of our mounting cushion to give it a little bit of a rise for dimension. And a couple other little items I have out of our Color Cloud blending ink, the new white cloud, and the Smoothies, which I'll be using to apply that through the die. Okay, so let's pop these out of our way. So the first thing I want to do is I've cut the Snowflake Filigree frame one time into my card, and I'm going to line it up to cut the second piece. And I want to show you something because it's going to overlap, and I'm just going to be using the decorative piece here, not the outside cutting edge. So I'm just going to line that up so it's about equidistant and pop that into place. Now this is one of those things that when people see it for the first time, they do panic a little bit because I'm actually cutting through an already cut image. So you will have a hole here, just to warn you. This is exactly what I expect it to do, but it isn't a problem. Okay, and give it a little bit of a peel through that. Take off my tape. So I've double cut in this center section right there. So don't panic. I realize that part of that is missing. Not a problem. What we're going to do is put the Brunswick green behind this. Okay, and I've already gone ahead and done one that I've glued into place. So I'll show you what it'll look like. Just like that. And then right over that will sit our focal element, so you'll never even see that. Okay, so I've got that piece already finished. Then I went ahead and took the inside part of this same die, and I'll show it to you. I've cut two of these. It's got the little bit of a snowflake. You can either use that towards the outside, or as I've done, I've actually just left a little bit of detail and put this side on the outside to show, but it's certainly your call. So I'll go ahead and put those two into place. Let's use a little bit of glue for that. And just put a tiny bit of dries clear glue around the edge and on this one. And that'll just add a tiny bit of detail. Be one of those things that it'll be a white on white, so you won't actually really notice it, but I think you would notice if it was missing. So we'll put that into place just so the outside shows, and it can even be offset a little bit, skewed to the outside if you like. And like I said, I'm putting the snowflake section on the inside. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a little bit. So the next thing is I want to cut this bottom part here. I'm creating a stepped background with that triple line Merry Christmas. So I want to do a white on white, so I'm going to bring that die in. There we go. Cut that out of a piece of white card. Take my tape back over, center it up. Now, generally speaking, I tell people when you cut this die, use wax paper because it tends to stretch a little bit, but I'm going to keep it in situ, so I shouldn't have any issue with that. We'll give it a go. And this is one of our perspectives range, so you get a perfect positive and a perfect negative from it, which is nice because you'll never have to actually clean the die. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and cut that. So what I'm going to do is I've got another piece of white card with a sticky adhesive sheet on it. I'm going to pop the backing off of that and expose the adhesive. And I'm going to line this up, oops, and carefully pull that out in place. Undo my tape here. Lift it up, poke all my pieces back out. In fact, I could probably even use the tool-in-one as I go to keep it in place. Let me get that last little bit of tape off there. Pick it up on this side, peel that back. So now what I've got is a perfectly cut background. You can see it, but it's a tone on tone, so it's not quite in your face. I'm going to pop that down on the bottom of a piece of white card like I've done here. And then we'll bring this piece back in that we did earlier. I've got a little bit of mounting foam. And I'm going to raise that up so we'll have a little bit of a stepped background. Just center that over the top of that. That looks pretty good. Bring that back into my backing piece. I've gone ahead and done my paper piercing around the edge in the white. And I've added the Brunswick green to the edge to tie in that color. And let me get this situated and I'll give you a quick measurement on it. Right there. Now that first piece on the top that I cut the Snowflake filigree out of, that was, oops, there we go, 6 3/4 by 4 inches. And this bottom piece down here is 6 3/4, and that was just about a little bit less than 2 inches there. Okay, so now you can see I'm building up that background, but what I want to do is add my sentiment and have it pop out a little bit. So I've cut the same exact sentiment in the Brunswick green, and I've just taken the Merry Christmas out of the center, popped it onto a piece of white card behind that, because remember you have that perfect positive and negative, you can do that. I've raised it up a little bit for dimension. I'm going to put that right in the middle of the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to add a couple of purl strips here. Now these started out their life as a double strip of white pearls, and I cut them down the center because I like to use just a little bit less at a time. So I'm going to peel the backing off of this. It's got an adhesive back to it. We're going to line this up right along the edge here. Get it started. Walk it along. See if they're the right size. There we go. And use the other one on the bottom here. It gives it a nice little pretty border. Just add some detail to the card. Get that right onto the edge there. Walk it along. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now all that needs is its focal element. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here. We'll pop a couple of these out of the way. Bring in our Brunswick green card and the holly octagonal frame. So pop that into place. A little bit of tape, and I'm going to try and get it just on the edge here because we're going to do a little bit of inking. So let's see if I can do that without taping that. I'm also going to use the other pieces in here that are the decorative pieces and leave the cutting edges for later. So I'm going to put this one into place and get that centered in there. And I will have to remove that to do my inking. There we go. And the last piece. Right in the middle there. Okay, do our cutting. Get all our little bits off of there. Give it a pass through, bring it back. Okay, check it. That looks like it's cut well. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the color cloud here and a smoothie. And we're going to just give it a little bit of a pump to get it started, okay? And I'm going to go around and do the edge. Let's just take off some of this tape. Otherwise, we'll have a nice void there. We don't want that. And I'll leave a little bit in place, and then as I move it around, I'll take the rest of it off. There we go. And just give a nice pounce through your die. Now, this ink is a little bit different than a regular color cloud. It's a bit more like an embossing ink texture to it. There we go. In fact, I'll tell you what, I've got one of these already done, but you can see what I would do is remove the tape and go all the way around the edge there, but I'll let you see what we've got so far. So you can see how that gives you a really pretty little detail coming through. So I've got one I've done earlier, and I've gone all the way around the edge, and then I used the cutting edge from, here it is, this one right here, to cut a little octagon shape, and I've backed it just behind the center there, so it really does pop that out. Okay, I'll pop that to the side, and I'm going to take this one, I've added a little purl and some mounting foam to it, and we will put that right in the middle. And remember that section that I said wouldn't show? This will cover it absolutely beautifully. There we go. See how easy that was to create a beautiful traditional Christmas card? It looks so detailed, and yet when you break it down, super easy to do. Don't forget to look at our YouTube channel for some more videos, and subscribe, please. You'll get those emails when the new videos come out. You'll be the first ones to see them.